The Dutch disease is a malady, an economic malady that afflicts nations. Hey, it's Dr. Pelosi III, and this is the Top Cosmetic Gynecologist Podcast. The Dutch disease is a paradox that describes good news in one sector, creating broad problems in the rest of the economy. Like having the largest oil reserves in the world, for instance. And when the price of oil goes up, your currency goes up. And when your currency goes up, your international buying power goes up. And when your international buying power goes up, you foolishly begin importing everything your nation needs in all of the other sectors, because it's cheaper than making it yourself. And when you put all of your eggs in your oil basket, you'd better hope it's a good one. Because when the price of that oil drops, the value of your currency drops. And you can't import everything your nation needs anymore, because now it's too expensive. And you can't make everything your nation needs, because you lost the ability to do that when you started importing everything without planning for this. And that creates chaos. My guest today is from Venezuela, a country plagued with this chaos for over a decade. Hey, it's Dr. Pelosi III, and I'm here with my good friend, Dr. Jorge Gaviria. I've been wanting to do this interview for a long time. I've known Jorge since he was just getting started in cosmetic surgery, and I helped him get started in cosmetic surgery along with my father with our society, the ISCG. And we've been friends since the mid-2000s. And since that time, not only has he grown professionally, but his personal situation, his life situation has gone through ups and downs. He's been all over the place. And he comes from a country with some severe political problems. And if you're not aware of these problems, you really can't appreciate the situation that him and his countrymen are in. He is currently living in Virginia, just in from Spain. And, well, Jorge, it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm glad you were able to make it for the podcast.
Well, Marco, thank you so much for this opportunity to talk, to share about a little bit of Venezuelan, the journey that has been cosmetic gynecology into my life and the change that this specialty has given to the quality of life for a Venezuelan surgeon.
You know what impresses me the most about you and about the people in your country is when I look at the map of Venezuela. It's not a very large place, but when we go to meetings in cosmetic gynecology, I see many people from Venezuela. It's almost as if you guys are like the powerhouse country down there for a small amount of territory, putting out a lot of experts and a lot of interest. What is it about Venezuela and the culture that attracts so many physicians to cosmetic surgery?
Well, Marco, I have to say that the vision of cosmetic gynecology in Venezuela was very much helped by all of you guys. I have to say that when the International Society of Cosmetic Gynecology supported me in 2012 to do the first Venezuelan symposium on cosmetic gynecology, that helped me a lot because your presence by video, Dr. Pelosi II, Dr. Jack Pardo, Jorge Elias, Alex Carbone, Adrián Gaspar, and El Dr. Roberto Solis, they were there in 2012. And the importance was that the Venezuelan Society of Gynecology and Obstetrics was present, and they saw by themselves that this was a very scientific base specialty that help women's health. So this support from the major branch of obstetrics and gynecology and the international make a very nice and very big interest. And for that moment, we got almost 150 colleagues that attend that meeting. And I think that since the beginning, they have been willing to help women's health because I think that this is the most important thing. The search for to help our patients. So I think that we were, I will have to say, the first country that was integrated cosmetic gynecology with our major mother society. And since that moment, we got a section for cosmetic gynecology. They didn't put it right away, but they used this laser and technology section for the obstetrics and gynecology society. So since the beginning, we have seen that colleagues in Venezuela, they have been very much interested in EVDs, energy-based devices. We even have one of our own made laser treatment for vaginal biomodulation. Is a diode laser with created by a Venezuelan. We have I think that maybe is one of the most experienced doctor doing HIFU into the vaginal canal. So I think that there is a lot of possibilities in Venezuela to do some research because the patients are well informed. And I will have to say that since 2012, there is so much social media advertising that we have done there. And we have so many doctors that are putting in together to spread the word. I don't think them as a competition. I think them as they are helping me to grow a pie so the doctors can also come in together and get some share to help patients. So they are in the pursuit of getting this and helping the patient. And I think that this has grown so much that there are doctors that are looking. Also, Marco, I have to say that what I have seen with the courses, because I am a director, academic director for 3 courses in Venezuela with different universities for lasers in gynecology. I have to say that they are pursuing for quality of life. Obstetrics, a lot of doctors are getting off obstetrics and they are trying to pursue something that is not on duty call, or maybe it's not something that they're going to get gray hair for this. And they are looking for something that is helping women, making the quality of life of the women better, but they also can have and live a happy life. I think that some of them are pursuing this. And I have to say that if you look at Venezuelans, we have started since the beginning with a good bunch of colleagues going into the international society meetings. I think that we have the biggest attendance for the international as a South American country. We got like 10 to 15 doctors that are going there every year. Sorry. But do you know what is the most difficult way? Is that we have to go into the black market to buy dollars because our government don't sell us dollars to travel. So the expenses from the Venezuelan to go there has been so difficult. I will say that you can go into the black market and the difference between the prices will go from 10 to 20 times the price that the Venezuelan government sell you the dollar. So there's so much corruption with the dollar that makes the Venezuelans attendance to if you see a Venezuelan in your Congress, you need to pay attention that he might be spending lots and lots of money to be there with you because the exchange rate that we get the dollars are so difficult. That is why we are just trying to help our fellow Venezuelans to get the knowledge and trying to save a little bit of bucks. And I have to remember when I started the first congresses, like I went into Vegas. I know maybe Jack Pardo hear this. He knew that I walked like 4 to 5 miles from hotel to hotel every morning, every night, because I cannot, I cannot afford one of the rooms at the Venetian, so I have to sleep down there in like a one night of the Venetian was the whole full weekend on my hotel. So that I had to say I have to be early in the morning because the International Society did give breakfast. So I want that breakfast included. I know that some of our doctors, Venezuelan doctors, they save and they sleep in the airports nights before the International Congress. It's because we are willing to know, we are willing to learn from each person that goes to a Congress. But it's the government that has ruined, this Chavismo has ruined Venezuela, one of the wealthiest country in the world in the 80s, one of the country with the most oil reserve in the world. It's not Middle East. I think that if we get all those around, or if you Google this Venezuela has the most oil reserve, and is the socialism that has get us there. And this bad administration, they have so much money that they are going to stay in power no matter what. And people are just lazy. And if they get a little bit of money from the government, and they think that this is okay. So this is not helping the population. Why? Because doctors are more tough to get dollars to go out to learn. And some of the doctors, like myself, that I did have the possibility to fled out of the country and pursue a better future for my children. We left Venezuela. I know that there is still a couple of doctors that are very good in this, but maybe they don't have the means or visa or job opportunities to leave the country. And it's hard because I start from scratch again when I moved to Barcelona. It was a very nice opportunity that they give me in Barcelona. For me as a gynecology, being the head chief of 20 years old experience, a laser platform in one of the best institutes in Barcelona, was a huge success for gynecology because we are breaking the barriers of treatments that are done by our gynecologists. If we are well trained, I think that we can do it. And as I prove, since I start using the laser, what I have done is teach and learn. Teach and learn. It's like when I went to Barcelona, Marco, it was because they asked me to do an online course for their master. So talking about laser in gynecology, and I say, you know what? I would love to do that class, but let me be a student for all the other classes and let me get the degree that you are offering to the others. So I was a student, but I also was the teacher of the lesson on laser gynecology. So I think that you can learn from everyone, and I think that that's the most important thing, that you are willing to give and you are willing to learn from everyone. And I think that this is something that Venezuelans, we do have. We come from different schools. Like Hakai Renault has been trained with me, has been trained with Jorge Elias, and maybe Marjorie Gomez. She trained with Mauricio Wafner from Colombia, and then she trained with Gaspar and Jorge Elias, and we are just trying to get the same feeling from the international, and I hope that someday we can show some international guidelines for treating patients, choosing the right and proper protocols to I don't know, maybe to be more universal, talking and getting this specialty to grow.
Well, thanks. That's a great answer. What fascinates me is when you said that you had the support of your OBGYN societies when this first came out. Why do you think that is? Was the leadership younger? Was it more progressive? Were they more into laparoscopy? Or is it just the way that the societies are in Venezuela, that it's a smaller group of people, they know each other better? What is it that made them so supportive, where everybody else in the world is the opposite way?
Well, I have to say that we have good leadership, and they were just supporting. Why? You say one word, and they were very much into technology. Doctor de Armas was the first Venezuelan who assisted Dominican Republic to get trained in cosmetic gynecology. So for him being very very well educated endoscopic European endoscopic of school of training, he was very well aware of what we were doing. So next presidency that support me was the Vice President William Sanchez, who sat first row in that Congress. And he just wanted to see what was the deal about it. And the support of all the academic teachers from the university hospital, like the head of the department, and those urogynecologists that for that moment were working on these conditions, they were very much supported. They wanted to be in the program, and that helped to see that the rest of the society, like the actual president, Villavicencio, he is well supportive, and he changed the name from the laser section to cosmetic gynecology, function and regenerative gynecology section. And I think that is because they think that, or they saw that we are really helping women. This is not something that is mixing up with dermatology, or mixing up with or conflict with plastic. I think that what we are trying to do is first that we can be teaching under a big institution, learn and help to the doctors, the members, to find the right tools to help their patients. So what they saw is that if they help to teach, to control this, they are not going to be many Venezuelan society of cosmetic gynecology or aesthetic gynecology or whatever. What they try to do is, help their members, help their colleagues to achieve knowledge. And I think that was the most modern thinking of our three presidents that have supported this idea. And it is just thinking ahead. They didn't want to have 5 different Venezuelan society of aesthetic gynecology. And one of the good thing is that the people that were doing that in that moment, like myself, Dr. Gonzalez, Marjorie Gomez, and some of the other doctors that they were not fully time, but like Andres Lemo, Piñero, we got and sat together and say, let's push this together before we get another society from Venezuela, because we don't want small societies to be, being the Venezuelan society just to teach and get students and get money out of these names. We want well-educated doctors and supported by good societies. And Venezuelan always had the international society support. So we always have this support on our events. So why do we have to get a small teen society of 20 people or maybe 100 people to name that Venezuelan Society of Aesthetic Gynecology? We have the Venezuelan Obstetrics and Gynecology under the section, and we got a program time during our national meetings. And we even, as a society, I remember 2015, Venezuelan Society of Obstetrics and Gynecology helped to be one of the societies supporting the international congress there. So I think that in the difference with other societies, I think that is not very much modern thinking of their leaders. I think that is the main key, Marco.
No, I think it's cutting edge. Do you think part of it has to do with the timing? Because in 2012, already like 2009, 2010. The energy-based devices were becoming available, and you were able for the first time to treat a menopausal atrophy, to improve an incontinence. And that didn't exist in this cosmetic gynecology space until then. If you compare it to the United States experience, which in the 1990s, the only cosmetic gynecology was either labiaplasty, vaginoplasty, or hymenoplasty. Labiaplasty was controversial. Hymenoplasty was even more controversial, and vaginoplasty was going by 100 different names, and it was coming out of Hollywood and Beverly Hills, completely in private practice and completely in this very glitzy world that never had anything to do with science. So do you think that it was just you were looking at the history of what happened for 10 years, and you said, we don't want to do the mistakes that happened in the United States. We want to go more serious. Do you think that was part of it?
It is. I think that it is the part of it, because we are looking at a functional and the way of repairing damage or aesthetic way to get it, and maybe that was not seen as a different specialty. With the EBDs that we introduced in 2012 in that Congress, I think that was an opening for the menopausal doctors that were looking for it. But Marco, the problem is not why we did it in 2012. The problem is why still in 2020 that we are now. And there is some countries that they have never heard about aesthetic gynecology, cosmetic gynecology, functional regenerative gynecology. And there is still some conflicts with major obstetrics and gynecology college or societies. I don't understand this. And it is difficult. If you see, like my friend Jack Pardo, he just speak this year about cosmetic gynecology in his own country. So it's his own country doing the work for him, going against him and trying to shut him out like he was doing some sorcery or something that was not well seen. Adrian Gaspar just spoke in the Argentinian Obstetrics and Gynecology Congress about EBDs. So I have to say that I have been in 35 different countries talking about EBDs, most of it laser treatments into vaginal canal for menopause or for improvement of sexual enhancement, to improve continence and improve movement of prolapsed walls. So it's been difficult to say, hey, you know what? The train is moving and the train is just going to pass you by and you are not going to get into this train. But why 2020? There are some colleagues that haven't heard anything about not even how to do a labioplasty or how that labioplasty can improve the quality of life of the patient. They haven't thought of how to improve a prolapse pain a woman that is functional gynecology, but I don't think that we are training or spreading well the word, because I think that there are some patients that still don't know the truth that they can have these treatments done and they can improve their life. And I think that is because major societies are giving the big no, and I think that we need to change this. Timing was right for Venezuela. I think that the power program that we put together, the support from the international society, the support from these major keynote speakers, that they came with no money. They didn't ask for anything, just to be helping to grow. And this is, I think that since 2012, we did 3 of those Congress, those first years. And I don't think that behind Mexico, that Solis has put some major Congress also there. I don't think that we got a pitching roster like that, 6, 7 people worldwide known for these procedures, like the ones that are involved with the international society. I know that the Blugerman and Dr. Gaspar with Solahef, that is the Latin society branched by the international for the Spanish-speaking countries, and they are promoting well. Alexandra Carbone and Gaspar, they're doing a great job, and hopefully we can see a Spanish meeting in South America anytime soon. So to keep this thing growing, or maybe we can have half of the international to talk in Spanish. I think that there is a lot of community in Latin America that are it is growing. I think it's growing faster than Middle East or Asia. Latin American country has great power men and power women that are rich enough for knowledge, and they really have good experience. So I think timing for this to, I don't know, to bubble up and skyrocket I think it is the time now. So the countries and the doctors that are just starting, they need to look at our mistakes that we have done and explain the major societies how to become one power country in cosmetic gynecology.
No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it's amazing to me that some countries are just getting into it now, and some doctors are just finding about it now. But I guess the older people, the more reluctant people, eventually they're on Facebook. They hear about things from outside of their borders, and they finally wake up a little bit. Now, in Venezuela, since it's backed by the OBGYN societies, are there a lot of energy-based devices for vagina and for vulva being used outside of the specialty of cosmetic gynecology, or dermatologists and plastics doing it, or are they leaving it to the gynecologist because of the support of the major college of gyne?
Well, in Venezuela, what the society, the OBG society, wanted to get involved is to control the aspects of what are the OBGYNs doing. It's like we support cosmetic gynecology, I think that the society, OBG society, help and is being supportive is because they want to keep what Venezuelans OBGYNs are doing into cosmetic by teaching, and if they don't teach outside of what they think that they are not supposed to be doing, like Venezuelan society supports cosmetic gynecology as treatments into the genital area, but they are not supportive of doing like I don't know, tummy tuck. So they don't support that being done by a gynecology, but they support all the different treatments and studies and research on HIFU, radio frequency, or whatever done for a gynecology by a gynecologist in the genital area. So in a way, they just want they are supportive, but they don't understand or complete understand what is the cosmetic surgery of being done by a gynecologist. But at least we got some support. Other major influence or users of EBD in Venezuela, they are plastic surgeons and they are aesthetic doctors, because we train aesthetic doctors and they are recognized by Venezuelan Medicine Federation. So that's how I got started, Marco. I went and I trained in Argentina with the Pinto Institute, and I became one of the first Venezuelans to go to study into female aesthetic procedures. So for the intimacy. So when I got one picture out in the social media, in the Facebook for that time, I got called by a aesthetic doctor and told me, you know what? I got a laser that works for gynecology. And I was like, well, this is good. Let's see what is the. So in that moment, when we got to see the laser was used for dermatology use, like every laser in the market until recent years, that they just name it for gynecology but they got the aesthetic laser, and what we use is a different handpiece for gynecology. We didn't have that handpiece. Okay, and it was like $3,000 or $6,000 that we need to invest to do some laser treatment because neck. But we didn't want to invest that money to do some stuff that we can do it with a radio frequency or a lip. So what we do is we got all the protocols that we were doing in the face, we put it in. Yeah. So we were doing skin tightening, vulvar bleaching, and that's why I got so much experience in vulvar bleaching, because that has been more than 10 years using lasers to do genital bleaching. Because what we had in that moment, we apply it because genital skin in that than the skin on the face. We just need to understand as a gynecologist, Fitzpatrick skin type, understand that we need to learn how to use laser physics into our advantage. We can users like monkey users, like press button 1, put it into the vagina, press button 2, and that's it. And that's how you do a vaginal tightening. We need to understand fluences. We need to understand different methods of getting the laser tissue interaction so we can get results, better, faster results, and no complications, because that is what will happen with the FDA. That we are just the laser industry. We're making users of a high tech that we need to understand that what we do is a controlled damage, heating, control that get the results. So if you don't know understand the laser physics, maybe you are to be warned by this. So I think that we need to understand that what it got me into the laser was that I wanted to study more. I wanted to get into it, and that's how I enrolled into the laser masters in Barcelona, and that's how I got involved in the different masters in Venezuela, and trying to teach, trying to help other colleagues to get the laser physics. It's not just to buy a machine and do it. It's like, do I support that aesthetic doctors and dermatology or plastic can do a laser vaginal tighten? Yes, I support it. If they can buy the machine, good. But the problem is that once I went into Ecuador to train a lady who was a dermatologist who wanted to start into vaginal tightening, and I was like, okay, now we need to shut around the meatus. And she was like, where's the meatus? Well, maybe you're a dermatologist, but if you don't know anatomy, you cannot do this. So I think that most of the things that we need to understand is that energy-based devices are not for everyone, and they can improve your quantity of treatments or protocols that you can give to your patients. But the problem is that they need to understand that if they don't study how to do it, it's like getting an ultrasound and don't go into a course. It's like letting the machine work for them, and they need to know, because they can do some harm, or maybe they cannot have results. And then if they don't have results, there's unhappy patients, or there is a unhappy doctor that saying that this technology doesn't work. It's something that is working, Marco. I think that we are in the right path. If you see Adrian's first publication being done by the American Journal of Cosmetic, and helped by Dr. Pelosi II and Blugerman, that first publication, since that we haven't seen any complications whatsoever into the vaginal tissue. So I don't think that we are doing harm. I think that most of what we have done is proof that we are helping women, and that we can achieve good results. And the time has tell us that we don't have complications, but time also has tell us that all OBGYNs wants the full randomized studies with big numbers. So that is something that we should be thinking. We have like a decade. We have like a decade of these treatments, but we haven't set to get a really nice article that can prove that this is somehow working. And I say somehow because some of the doctors, they just buy the laser, but they don't know how this is working, or what is the fundamentals of this treatment. They just want to be with the protocols. And I think it's easier than going into a course and doing the proper surgical approach. But this is something for the patients that they just don't want to be surgical treated. So I think that we have a really nice field, and we are helping a lot of our patients.
Right. Now, tell me about the move from Venezuela to Spain. Now, you had an active practice in gynecology, cosmetic gynecology, and what year was that when you decided to move to Spain?
Well, everything started since maybe 1 or 2 years after I got married. My wife was like, Venezuela, this is not a safe place. You know, we were having our first kid, and we should go out. Every Venezuelan was like, okay, let's go out. And we delivered the baby in USA. So now he can be a US citizen because he was born there, you know. And this is something that is happening. I think that Trump is going to change that, you know, because everybody wants to come here and deliver here. And even though in that moment we think about it, but we didn't do it because I was in a good practice. I got corpo laser going, and we we had a really nice clinic. It is still open. It is a huge clinic in Caracas, and we were doing very good. But in 2015, after I finished my master in laser, I got the job offer from Barcelona. They say if I wanted to run the service of laser, and that got me very happy because for me it was a good way to play around with 14 different lasers, 14 different wavelengths in 21 laser machines. So I was like a little kid, with new toys to play around, to get some different research and studies. And in 2016, after 1 year of thinking about it, I was like, you know what? I need to get out of Venezuela because it wasn't safe. It was not safe. You walk into a mall thinking that somebody's going to steal one of your kids, and the problem with the dollars that we didn't have for that time. It was difficult to get like toilet paper or toothpaste, or I don't know. It was unbelievable. So me and my wife, we say, you know what? Let's do like a sabbatical year in Barcelona, and we can think about it. For that time, I did enroll into a U.S. visa, a special ability visa. I did it in 2016 for that moment because I was trying to get out of Venezuela. Do you know that more than 4 million Venezuelans has left the country in these past 5 years? Did you know that?
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Only in these 5 years is 350,000 Venezuelans that are in the U.S. have arrived in the U.S. by now in these past 5 years. So what is now the problem, Marco? The problem is that not the Dr. Gaviria went to Barcelona, Spain in 2016 because he was well educated, etc., etc., etc. The problem is that the persons who are starving to death in Venezuela, that they just can't leave the country, buy food, walking, those persons that they have low income, etc., they are going by foot to where? To Colombia, to Ecuador, to Peru. They are walking even to Argentina. And now they have been some problems because those persons that can go there, they are a necessity. And necessity is something that is not good because they are not educated, and those countries are getting not the best Venezuelans. So now we got that old phobia of the Venezuelans, and that is a pity. So for me, being like a medical ambassador from Venezuela, because you have seen me, I go everywhere with my flag. I am very much pro Venezuela. Venezuela is a beautiful country, it's a rich country, but we got so much corruption, and that is something that hopefully we can see that we can overthrow this dictatorship that is killing people. And we can overthrow that corruption that has been maintained by drug money, by robbing the Venezuelans. So eventually, I will go back, and my kids can see their mother country. So I was in Barcelona for 3 years doing research with different lasers, 21 equipments, 14 different wavelengths, and I was doing everything into the vaginal canal. So I invented and put the ND-Jack Nonablative laser into the vaginal canal. We are seeing very good results for this follow-ups that is going to be 2 years now. And this is important because we are saving laser light time for the CO2s and the erbium, and we are improving more deep tissue. And that got me something that was very much important as a laser doctor, because if you don't waste time, you don't waste laser lamp time, you are saving money and you are improving the results. And in that moment when I was there, I got invited by one American doctor to do some research. Dr. Tashkarimi invited me to do some research. He's a urologist, and me being a trained gynecology, we are getting a sexual consult, so we can treat both men and women and helping them achieve very good sexual intimacy. And the visa that I applied in 2016 just came out, so I am here on that visa. So I am now I am living in Virginia.
That's great. That's great. Now the place in Barcelona, the laser unit, that was unique because as far as I remember, it's multi-specialty laser unit, right? It's from not just gynecology.
Yeah. No. I was in charge of as a chief, and we did have like 3 dermatologists working there and 5 different aesthetic doctors. But the good thing is that as a surgical clinic, we also were consulted by coloproctologists, ENTs. We were by ophthalmologists. So everyone in the clinic that needed a laser, they can break the patient down and they can do the work. You know, that there are different dermatologists who didn't have to invest in a laser. They just go down, and it was like a service for all the practitioners. And in the surgical room, if you have a patient that you want to rent the laser, we just take it to the OR and do the surgery with you and help you in every way. So we did have I think that anything that can be done with laser, we did it, and we still doing it in there. So, you know, from hemorrhoids to nasal to turbinectomy, everything was done with the laser, because we have like different surgical lasers, and all of the clinic they knew about the laser platform, because this was born by a dermatologist. Dr. Buendia founded this laser platform more than 20 years ago. So it was a well-known service, and this they got me into there because it's not that I was going to improve the dermatology approach or the aesthetic approach. It was because they didn't have the right person to do the aesthetic gynecology laser treatments, and we got it there, and now it's rolling. I left there, but we by that time we trained good doctors from in the house. So the service is still going, and we keep very much in touch while I am doing this time here in Virginia.
Okay. So what lasers are you working with now in Virginia? I mean, I know you just got started here, but what are the lasers you plan to use?
Well, this is not that different than what I had in Venezuela or in Barcelona. Remember that as a gynecologist, we are using lasers that are attracted by water. So I started in Venezuela with CO2. Then I moved to erbium jack laser, and now that there are some changes into a non-ablative ones laser, Here we have CO2. I got my laser that is a Irving Jack Nonablative approach, and we have radio frequency, and let me think, and we have the magnetic chair. So we are working with these 4 different energy-based devices. So the good thing is that for the first time, I can sit down and work energies and trying to do a head-to-head comparison to the with between the CO2 and the erbium. This is something that is going to be good, because for the first time I can say that I can do a head-to-head comparison in results with the CO2 and the erbium. But the problem will be that most of the CO2, they are competing against each other. Why? Because they say, well, mine is stamping, well, mine is scanned. So I cannot have them all, but I will try just to see the results between wavelengths and trying to manage to get the same energies deposit into the vaginal tissue to see results. It's going to be hard, but I love commitments to research.
Yeah, no, that's a hard study to do, because it's almost like you're asking the researcher, if he has a car, I want you to buy a Rolls Royce and I want you to buy a Bentley and I want you to race them. And I don't think, Bentley's into it, Rolls Royce is into it, or somebody's into buying 2 expensive machines necessarily. But if you have both, you're in this unique situation to really get this information, because everybody wants to know for real which one of these shines, or which one shines better in certain indications.
Yeah, I think that is good to understand that the difference between one and another. I think that most of the doctor, and this has been since the beginning. I want to start, but where should I start? What should I get? Which one should I buy? That is a difficult and tough call for me to say. I got some good with the machine that I have been working with, the one that I bought. And I think that there is a lot of doctors that they are having good results with the machines that they bought. So it is like when after you finish OBGYN and you want to buy an ultrasound marker, which one is the best one? Or what do you want to achieve with that ultrasound? What do you want, or the training course that you did, or the ultrasound machine that they had in your residency was this kind of brand, and you will like to continue working with that. So that's why you go maybe for the high tech, good definition or whatever. But I think that we are showing good results, no complications whatsoever. So I think that is just up to the doctor, and I think it's money talk. But EVDs are something that are going to change your practice, and I think that I will encourage for every doctor to get one kind of EVDs to improve those and to offer those protocols in the office.
Yeah, no, I would agree. These technologies are here to stay. Well, let's finish off. Let's go back to your childhood. So you grew up in Venezuela, and
yes.
Your family. What kind of business was your family into?
Well, when I was a teenager, I was very much into animals. I was horse riding in Venezuela, doing some coleo. It's like getting the tail of the bull and tipping the bull over while I was riding the horse. It's a different kind of a rodeo that we did in Venezuela. So I was very much into it, and I want to be a veterinarian. So I went into the veterinarian school when the first year, and in that moment, my parents got separated. So I went back home and stayed with my mom and helped to raise my brothers and everything, and being the man of the house because my dad was away. So I say, well, you know what? I wanted to be a horse surgeon. Now, well, I'm going to train to be a surgeon because what I want is to do some stitching repair, and I became a doctor. I started studying medicine. And well, my dad and my mother, they are both, they are doctors. My mother is an eye doctor, is an ophthalmologist. And my dad, he was the head of the university hospital department of OBGYN. He was one of the first perinatologists that was trained in Uruguay. So I was looking up to him, and I wanted to be like him. But in the hospital, they make it so difficult to be the son of the head. You know, it's just, it was they were expecting so much for me, and I was always, you know, the Dr. Gaviria's son. So what I did is I moved from city, and I went to study gynecology in the capital of Venezuela, Caracas, and I got a name for myself. You know, I was Dr. Gaviria, but in Caracas they didn't know my father, so I went into gynecology in that hospital in the Red Cross. You can do gynecology 2 years, and I went for gynecology, and then I did fertility for 1 year. And my dad was like, "Okay, you're getting your woman pregnant, but who is doing the pregnancy checkup?" And then I went into obstetrics school 2 more years. So I did my OBGYN and fertility for 5 years career residency. And right after that, what I was doing, fertility, endoscopic surgeries, and whatever, I went into Argentina to get trained, and then I met you guys, and I think that I forgot everything about obstetrics and laparoscopic and everything. And I have to say that was a life-changing point. I appreciate so much the knowledge that you share and you give, and you know, is all the support that I have received from the Pelosi Medical Center, from the International Society, has changed in every positive way my life. And I have to say that the training that I received with you changed my surgical career and gave me the tools to be where I am now. And I think that the doctors that are now joining us to be in the international congress, the doctors that has joined to enroll into the cadaver lab courses, they know that they by firsthand how much knowledge do you give to the doctors, that you're not hiding anything. You are giving every tool for the doctor to succeed. So I think that doctors that are hearing this, they should be encouraged first to learn from firsthand the techniques that the international society are doing in these cadaver courses, and they should meet with us in the international congress. So this is also an invitation for them. For you that you are listening to me. Let's meet in person, and we'll see you in March of 2020.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the best way to learn is to learn the way that you've learned other things in your career, and not to take any shortcuts. And that's always been the secret. Well, I know you have a bunch of little kids running around the house, and probably
you hear them.
Your wife is looking at you like, get off the phone and start helping out here. Jorge, it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, we will see you. I'll see you in cadaver course in December, and then 2020 in March in Fort Lauderdale.
All right, get some rest. Take care.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Share this podcast and this website and this blog with the people in your life who you feel would benefit from this information.